I still, even though a lot of the pieces are asymmetric in the end, I still believe that you have to start off with a substantial form. You know, a form that's not perfect but has a nice balance to it, and then you can come in and push it around.
Tom, he can sit down and make that porcelain do things that most people have no idea how to make move the way he moves. And that sense of spirit and energy in the work comes across from years and years of training of making perfectly round pots. You can't go out around without being round first.
He's one of the top porcelain people in the country, there's no question about it.
All this is like a tongue and groove method of putting two pieces together, just like you do wood. So the next piece that I'll work, you turn upside down, it'll fit into that groove. Hey, it fit.
Tom Coleman is a master of the wheel.
You know, he's a technical master.
Tom is a master.
You know, the word used that I really hate, I don't hate it, it's just misused, is master potter. You know what master means? All-knowing. And when you know all about clay, everything there is to know, you get out, you quit, you're done.
You know, Frank will draw on request. If you like any kind of cartoon characters like Popeye or Olive Oil, he could draw that on the side for you. That's the all-around artist, right?
That's right.
I think Frank is one of the great designers of the surface of vessels.
I mean, he can cast bronze, he can make large sculptures, he can do pottery. He and I are much alike in this respect, that neither one of us have ever drawn a line between art and craft. You know, that this never came into our, we don't even think about that, you know. When somebody's making dishes, that's different, then we think about that. But if you're doing pottery, which is basically poetry, you know, that we don't care whether you call it sculpture, you call it pottery, it doesn't make any difference what you call it, you know.
You know, people consider porcelain to be such precious material, you know, and it should be treated just really gently and really softly and everything, but yet, you know, when you attack these things with these tools and things and you score into it and there's something really violent going on, you really set up a lot of tension between what people think something should be and what it actually is.
You mentioned porcelain, they either say, well, yeah, my bathtub's porcelain or my sink's porcelain, which is not true.
Right.
Or blue and white ware that you're, you know,
Well, I had a little porcelain doll head when I was
yeah,
a
a little
kid.
doll head.
There's a full integration of surface treatment and form. A lot of his forms are very classical in nature, well balanced, albeit, you know, he manipulates and pushes and pulls the surface.
If we set this pot up in the kiln, close to the front, we could produce a carbon shade across half of it. So the skeletons would be half in darkness and half in white porcelain, okay?
I think he's a top firer, really good. He's been doing wood firing longer than anybody else that I know in the States, actually.
The flame really bullies, you know, the drawings on the pieces.
So he understands that properties of wood and the kilns and the kilns construction, and he understands the clay, he understands how to, you know, put color on the clay from the wood. I mean, what clays will take certain woods and how he can flash pots are just remarkable.
Frank Boyden and I built the 5th wood-fire kiln in the United States in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And we were so proud of this. It took us a year and over $100,000 to build this kiln. And we had borrowed money. When we got these pieces out, we went around to all our galleries. We were so proud, and we'd show these things, and they would look at them like we had crapped on their floor. It was the nasty. Look what we've done. And they're looking at this, you know, they've cut their hands holding it. We were so proud. It's the process. And they would look up at me and they'd say, well, do you have any more decorated porcelain pieces? We'll have one of these.
Yeah, that was really awkward for me, you know.
Well, me too. I didn't know what the hell to.
But we had this stoneware and we made these big pieces.
They both recognize the potential.
What about the first meeting when you guys first discussed collaborating?
We were up at East Creek, you know, and we loaded a kiln and we just started to talk about it. And I said, you know, it'd really be fun to draw on some of your pots.
From there, they have worked on and off together for years, each understanding the other's talents and each understanding that The other had something significant to add